The president says the T word, tariffs, is the most beautiful word in the English language. On the other side of that, we had the naysayers forecasting a deep recession starting in April of last year from the tariffs.
Well, Joe, let's start with where we were exactly a year ago when you had all of the blue chip forecasters, including the Fed and, the professional and academic economists. And if you looked at the forecast for the blue chip, it was that we would have about 1.9% growth for 2025. And we now know with pretty much certainty what the growth rate will be, according to the Atlanta Federal Reserve Board, through December 23rd. And we've had growth rates over the last 3 quarters that have been twice that high.
Gas Buddy says the national average price for a gallon of gas down for the 5th straight week. So it's now $2.75. That's down 23 cents in 1 month. In 40 states, average gas prices are now below that $3 mark.
The Democrats have been nothing but doom and gloom about Donald Trump's tariffs and the economy. However, all of their fears seem to be completely unfounded as we keep getting good economic data rolling in, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. However, what we're going to see today is Hakeem Jeffries being called out over his alarmism over on CNBC. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so we can break the algorithms. Here we go.
Are you surprised that the tariffs haven't had a bigger impact on prices, for example?
I think it remains to be seen where this is headed. I'm deeply concerned that the tariffs are going to exacerbate the inflationary challenges that we already have in the United States of America, the affordability issues that we have in the United States of America, particularly as it relates to consumer goods and consumer goods that are going to be important to the American people.
I guess, Mr. Speaker, I don't know about deflation and costs coming down. All I can tell you is that the inflation rate itself was 2.7% in the most recent read year over year versus it got to a high of 9% under Biden. Stocks are at record highs. Unemployment is 4.2%. That's full employment. The GDP was 3%. The border is actually secure. We've got trade deals with EU, Japan, many more in the works, and trillions of dollars of foreign investment coming here. Iran's nuclear ambitions have been set back indefinitely, and I just wrote down a few things. So I just have to ask you, where is the calamity that you're talking about? And it almost seems like for Democrats, socialism is the answer to these problems. Or, I don't know, an end of democracy or something? We just don't get it.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what we stand for, Joe. It's pretty clear. As Democrats, we believe in a strong floor and no ceiling. What we've seen from this administration is an attack on Social Security, an attack on Medicare, an attack on the Affordable Care Act. You pass one big, ugly bill that's now law on a partisan basis that represents the largest attack on health care in American history. Hospitals will close, nursing homes will shut down, community-based health clinics will be unable to operate. People all across the country are going to experience increased premiums, co-pays, and prescription drug prices. That's a problem for everyday Americans. But it's part of a consistent pattern that the Trump administration has attacked the free enterprise system here in the United States of America. The Trump administration has unleashed the largest pay-to-play scheme in modern American history, and everybody in corporate America knows it. Everyone in Washington, D.C. knows it. Is that not an attack on a free market-based economy here in the United States of America? Seems to me that it actually is. That's problematic.
Right, but here's the thing. You're talking about a free market. This is why I wanted to go there, because there's sort of you're talking about a free market on one side and being an advocate for a free market on one side, but at the same time, we just had a whole conversation about an individual in New York City who is genuinely titling themselves a socialist. And you're saying that you might ultimately support them. And so I'm trying to understand the distinction here.
No. I'm trying to understand why you would spend a significant amount of time asking me about the Democratic, and it's not a legitimate point to raise about a president who is regularly attacking the free market economy, bullying corporations, bullying universities, bullying law firms. He just recently called upon the CEO of Goldman Sachs to fire their chief economist. That's not problematic. He's the leader of the free world, the president of the United States of America. He's in office right now, and he's attacking the market-based economy. Now, I said that I support.
I don't disagree with you at all. I don't love those attacks, but I will say, just in fairness, and I wonder whether you think that they're the same or they're not the same. There have been people that have criticized Elizabeth Warren for years for individually attacking and going after and naming specific CEOs in America, specific companies in America, over again and over again. President Biden famously didn't invite Elon Musk to the White House, probably caused him to actually support this president originally.
So let's go ahead and address that first. And I'll say kudos to Andrew Sorkin over here for holding Hakeem Jeffries' feet to the fire, okay? Because Hakeem Jeffries is out there complaining about free markets, free enterprise. Donald Trump is interfering in all of these. And yet the Democrats are openly supporting socialism, even though it's democratic socialism, right? The complete takeover of our economy by the government, all right? And Hakeem Jeffries wants to sit over here and pretend like the Democrat Party is for the working man, even though they've been ignoring them for the last 30 years in favor of illegal immigrants, thus driving down wages in this country. And I find the whole thing completely laughable because we all know that Democrats really just want to raise taxes so they can afford to buy votes of those illegal immigrants that I mentioned earlier, okay? And you also have Hakeem Jeffries coming out and talking about healthcare, okay? Who are the ones that ruined the entire healthcare system? Who are the ones that caused healthcare prices to increase at least 300%? Oh, that would be the Democrats, completely along party lines, mind you. So he can't sit here and say that, yeah, Republicans are causing all of the worst scenarios in America when we just went through 4 years of Joe Biden. Okay, and let's actually break down these numbers because obviously the tariffs were supposed to be the end of the world. And my position all throughout the tariffs was give Donald Trump a chance because he did this in his first term. And it worked. And as a matter of fact, it worked so well that Joe Biden actually kept a whole bunch of his tariffs in place. Okay, let's go ahead and run through these numbers. So first, let's start with the gross domestic product. All right, in 2024, the GDP was 2.8% growth. Okay, in 2025, the second quarter was 3.8%, the third quarter is 4.3%, and the fourth quarter is estimated to be over 3%. Obviously, we don't know those numbers yet because December is not complete. So we're moving in the right direction. Now, of course, a bit of a rain cloud on all of this was quarter one. All right, we actually had a negative 0.3 GDP, which really freaked a lot of people out. And the reason that happened, by the way, is simply because there was a buying surge of foreign products because Donald Trump was talking about all of his tariffs, right? So they didn't get enacted right away, if you recall. And that, of course, caused a little bit of a contraction in our economy. But with numbers like we've been seeing, things are set to rocket in 2026. Also, let's take a look at real earnings growth, okay? We have an increase of 3.5% in average hourly earnings, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And of course, this is really good news on top of the inflation data because we have the United States inflation easing to 2.7% for the entire year thus far. So what that means is we have growth in wages outpacing inflation. And hey, that's a good thing. Not to mention also, we have those gas prices below $3 a gallon for the first time in 4 years. And this is really good news because guess what the price of every single item that we have in America is tied to? The price of gas. So we should start to see the fall in prices as well. And of course, this is what we're kind of seeing is the stubborn economy, the stubborn inflation is sticking around. And this is why a lot of the American people are still uneasy and still unhappy because yeah, prices overall have not dropped. However, the economy is going in the right direction, and hopefully we're going to start to see all of those price adjustments in the coming year. But of course, just to add a little icing on the cake, not only do we have basically zero border crossings, all right, we also have a fall in murder rates of 20%, the largest drop ever in history year over year. I wonder why in the world that could possibly be, because law and order is back in town. So yes, I understand people's fear about the economy. I understand people's anxiety about the economy, and that's because it has not been fixed, like Donald Trump said, on day one. However, all of the indicators are moving in the right direction. And the people right now who are really just simply unhappy with the state of the economy are really just mad that Trump wasn't able to fix Biden's economy instantaneously. But I'm hopeful for the future. And Hakeem Jeffries, of course, can suck it. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.